Welcome to Bridging the Gap. I'm Tom McCombs, and this session is titled The Interpersonal Gap, a model by John Wallen. I'd first like you to take a look at a clip that demonstrates an interpersonal gap.
Ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Now that's a severe example. Are they always that severe? Well, sometimes. Let's think of another example. You're driving home from work, you're hungry, and you want to know what's for dinner. You walk into the house and say, "Hi, honey, what's for dinner?" What's the impact? One impact might be that it's your birthday, and she's excited that you're home for dinner. She's prepared a special dish for you. Another impact might be that it's been a frustrating day. She's been working with the kids, the house is a mess, and she hasn't gotten to dinner yet. She might be angry and say, "Well, whatever you want to fix." A third impact could be that she feels guilty. She forgot what time you were coming home. She's been busy, and dinner isn't ready yet. She might say, "I'm sorry, honey, I forgot. I'll get it ready in just a minute." Three different kinds of impacts from the same intent. Now, let's look at the model, the interpersonal gap. Jeff, or person A, has an intent, and in this case, he wants to know what's for dinner. That intent passes through some filters, where it's encoded into an action. In this case, the action is that he walks in the door, smiles, and says, "Hi, honey, what's for dinner?" This then goes through some filters to Carol, or person B, who experiences an impact. The filters are influenced by things like what they've observed, their past experiences, or how they're feeling that day. These filters are used to decode the action, to translate or interpret it, which leads to an impact, usually emotional: anger, frustration, happiness, sadness, or guilt. Problems arise when person B believes their interpretation or judgment is a fact about person A, even though person B doesn't know person A's intent. So, does the intent always perfectly align with the impact? Well, probably not, but in many cases, it's close enough. But when it's not, a gap forms. Who has the responsibility to bridge the gap? Should Jeff have made it clearer, or should Carol have understood better? A colleague of mine, Jack Fontaine, said, "It's 100% at the interface." Person A should do all they can to help person B understand, and person B should do whatever they can to understand the intent. It's important to focus on the intent rather than the action. The action consists of behaviors and words, but the words and behaviors don't always convey what person A intended. Have you ever heard, "Well, you said this, so you must have meant it"? Doug Gibbs said, "Meanings are in people. Meanings are not in words." In other words, the intent may not be conveyed as clearly as person A would like, and the meaning may be different from what the action suggests. For example, have you ever thought, "Why did I say that? I didn't mean that"? Let's look at the model again. Is person A's intent public or private? Well, it's private. Only person A knows it. How about the action? The action is public because everyone can see or hear it. And what about the impact? The impact is private because only person B knows it. Some time ago, Purdue University conducted a study to find out how people gather information. Is it from the words, the tone of voice, or the body language? The study found that people receive 7% of information from words, 36% from tone of voice, and 57% from body language. So, what are some ways we can bridge gaps? One way is something called a behavior description, where person B describes the behavior they observed and explains its impact on them. An example might be, "A few minutes ago, I saw you walk into the room and say, 'Hi, honey, what's for dinner?' I was already frustrated and irritated, and I thought, 'Why didn't you ask me how I'm doing?' And I became angry." Another way to bridge the gap is paraphrasing, where you clarify what the other person meant. You might say something like, "Do you mean?" followed by your interpretation of what you thought they meant. Person A might also try, "It looks like you're upset by what I said. Let me explain what I meant." There are various ways to bridge these gaps, and we'll be discussing them as skills in the future. Let me conclude by asking you to fill in the following statement. I know you by your. Pause here or think of the word for a second. Most people would say actions, but that's not accurate. The correct response is, I know you by my interpretation of your actions. Next time, I'm going to talk about two skills, behavior description and perception check. And I'll show you how a magic trick, the disappearing coin, can help illustrate behavior description and perception check.